What is up, our friends of film fandom, wherever you may be, and however you may be watching and or listening? We appreciate you being here and giving us just a little bit of your time. We are, of course, The Harsh Truth, and once again, and as always, I am obviously not Frank. However, down there in the bottom corner of the screen, being my power bottom, being my rock of this crazy two-person pyramid that we have going on this week, is the actual Frank. How are you this evening, good sir?
I had some good news, Jeremy, earlier that will interest you. Actually, we are fans of Quentin Tarantino. We are fans of the Kill Bill films, both volumes 1 and 2. They have just announced that they are making a supercut of the movie because it was initially supposed to be one movie. That's what I'm going to do.
Yes.
A supercut is going to be something like 4.5 hours long. That is going to be released in theaters. I don't know if it's for a day or for a weekend, but whenever that happens, I think me and you have plans that weekend, sir. We have something we have to do.
I think something's penciled in that week, and I saw that scrolling earlier today, and I'm like, release the Tarantino cut. I'm here for it. Well, like I said, I'll pee before the show starts, but man, that's awesome news. Oh God, you'd love to see it. Hopefully they bring something like that out, like maybe it might still be 2 discs, but we can do crazy stuff with physical media now. I don't know. Give me some big fat disc so I can get 4 hours of movie on it. Anywho, sweet. So on that happy high note, we're here, and if you read not the description, the title, we are now going to talk about Falling Down as a retro review this week. My notes. Falling Down is a 1993 American action drama film directed by Joel Schumacher, or as I like to call him, Joel Bat Nibbles Schumacher. Written, I know, I can't help it. Written by Ebbe Roe Smith and starring Michael Douglas, Robert Duvall. It is set in Los Angeles, and the film tells the story of William Foster, a disgruntled, unemployed defense worker who abandons his car in the middle of a traffic jam and goes on a violent rampage trying to reach his family for his daughter's birthday. Martin Prendergast, a retiring police officer, is the officer who is attempting to catch Foster on his little rampage. Played by Robert Duvall, by the way. The film grossed $96 million against a $25 million budget. Them's good numbers, them's positive numbers. We like those. It took the top spot at the United States box office in its first 2 weeks of release. Falling Down holds an approval rating of 75% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 57 reviews, with an average rating of 6.8 out of 10. The site's consensus reads, quote, Falling Down's popcorn-friendly take on its complex themes proves disquieting and ultimately fitting for a bleakly entertaining picture of one man's angry break with reality. Yeah, as I've described it, imagine this is like the worst fucking day of your entire life. I mean, there's a Joker origin story in here or something, man. This is the one bad day story, I'm telling you what. That's pretty eloquently put. Frank, do you got quick thoughts before we try to work out our problems throughout this stroll through LA?
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the Joker reference because when I did my review for the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, when it came out several years ago, I had said on that review that movie reminded me of this movie in Face Paint. I said this is Falling Down in Face Paint. It is a man who is on the edge and gets pushed over the edge by society rather than a certain moment or a person being mean. He's just, things have not been good to him, and there is just a moment where some men hit that moment and they get pushed over the edge and they crack, and this is kind of the same thing. I think it's one of the 90s was really good at doing the gritty kind of grounded drama. The 80s was kind of, the overacting kind of ruined it, but the 90s, one of the things they really did better than any other decade. And yes, I'll throw some 90s love your way. I can see the smile on your face right now. But the 90s
decade just come out in. Please say good things about it.
The 90s did. That's when they really got gritty. Those darker tones, darker stories that were not just like dark. They were real. They felt like they existed in the real world. This was one of those movies because, I mean, especially for that era, that time period in Los Angeles, there's a little bit of trivia about some of the stuff that was going on in Los Angeles at the time they were filming this.
There was some big shit happening the year before.
Yeah, that period of the early mid-90s in LA was a really contentious, it was a powder keg of a lot of things going on. So I think this movie was perfectly timed. I think it was, like Joker, a great character study about this guy who had finally just kind of crossed that limit. And and you have to kind of ask yourself when you watch a movie like this, if I hit that breaking point, how do I react? How do I think I would react? How could I react? I mean, what you have to kind of look at yourself a little bit after watching a movie like this, which makes it a very interesting watch. And then, of course, it's brilliantly acted by everybody, which helps.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is I don't want to say it's like relatable, because I mean I'm not gonna say I'd be able to stroll through downtown LA with, you know, a little Mac 9 or a fucking Uzi or something and walk into a definitely not McDonald's and I'm just trying to order breakfast, you know. But it's one of the funniest scenes. Yeah, and I would almost like call this kind of like it's almost got like a dark comedy element to it, where I'm like, yeah, he goes into like a not McDonald's and just wants some breakfast, but I'm like, you kind of want to laugh, but you're awkwardly like, isn't that kind of funny how he's just pointing a fucking gun at these clerks? He's like, I don't want to hurt you, but like, I just want a breakfast sandwich, man. Like, what the hell? Like, and like when he awkwardly just accidentally shoots the gun off, he's like, I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry. It's a sensitive trigger. I'm sorry. It's cool. Like, you know, pays for his food and just walks out. Like, it's just, I don't know. Watching his descent, like I said, you can kind of like, you've been there. I mean, like I got to pull up this first scene in the beginning, where when he's stuck in the traffic, I'm like, this right here, this has happened to all of us, I'm sure, at some point. We've been there, man. Like, he's looking around at like the kids on the bus being loud. There's the mom in the car next to him. There's a fly that's kind of just swatting the back of his neck. He's sweating because it's probably, well, I don't know. It's LA. It could be like 80 degrees and probably still be nice, but you know what I mean? It's, yeah, this right here, that's a place we've all been to. So yeah, I think this does push that envelope past, like, yeah, like you said, well, if this had happened, like, man, what would you even do if, like, basically you're at the absolute end of your rope, you know, then where would you go? And apparently he just wants to go home. Like, that was almost my line, like, I'm going home. I'm just gonna go home. Yeah, it's oof. Yeah, just a little bit of grease paint on this guy, and you definitely have a Joker story. I definitely did not prepare this one. I didn't get a picture of Joel Schumacher, which really sucks, but that's okay. I have a billboard. We know what he looks like. So yeah, that's obviously the first bullet point is Joel Schumacher. I think we've discussed him before, but I mean, what do you think about how he did with this film? Because he's had quite an interesting repertoire of movies, but what do you think about what he did with this film in particular?
With this film, he did a fantastic job. I mean, like I said, this can be kind of a touchy subject because you want to do something that's grounded and feels real, but you don't really want to necessarily glorify the violence. I think, like I said, the comparison between this movie and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, the first one anyway, the second one not so great, is that it really is a character study about the man. One of the things I find interesting about this character, the way that it was directed and the way that it was put together by Michael Douglas, who this was definitely a pet project of his as well, is that he is not, they didn't portray the defense, which is kind of how he's known in the movie, but they didn't portray his character. They didn't portray him as a bad guy. They portrayed him as someone who was broken, not bad. And I think there's one scene specifically that I think was beautifully shot, beautifully directed. I think Schumacher and him probably put a lot of and Michael Douglas probably put a lot of thought and dialogue talks into this. Is that scene with the kid with the whole rocket launching thing? That scene is. That scene, a couple others as well over the course of the movie, but that scene in particular, it's not a harsh scene where this guy's like, I'm just going to blow this place up because I hate life. I hate LA and I'm frustrated. It's like both of them are kind of in a weird position. It's like he has no idea what the hell he's doing. It's like this kid, right. I mean, a little early for Call of Duty, but I mean, this kid's played video games. And he's yeah. He even mentions, he's like, I saw it in a movie. But,
saw it in a movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like he's not bad. It's like he wants to try to fix the things that annoy him in life. And trust me, you're getting closer and closer, whether you like to admit it or not. As I'm knocking on the door at 50, I relate with this guy so much more with every passing day. Because I was sitting in some traffic earlier on my way to work, and I was just like, oh my god! And like in my head for a minute, I kind of like was shot back to that opening scene of this movie because I just watched it last night. The frustration of the signs and the lights and the traffic not moving. I'm like, come on, I need to be where I need to be, where I need to be. But granted, I did not, pull out a rocket launcher and start launching rockets on Highway 75 or anything. But yeah, I mean, it's that I think he directed this movie perfectly. I can almost forgive him for the bat nipples because he made this movie. You know what I mean? This, like I said, it's a great character study. And like I said, Michael Douglas, this is something that as soon as he read the script, he was all over it. And Joel Schumacher, I think it was one of those moments where him and Schumacher got together and they really crafted a fantastic story, a fantastic character that is engrossing. It's like he's the bad guy, he's the protagonist, but I mean, even a 20-year-old watching this has got to look at it and be like, I kind of get it. It's he's not quite Thanos level where you're like, he's snapping away half the galaxy to save half the galaxy. Sure, it's not quite like that, but it's like you get his frustrations. And I think a lot of that is because of the way that the story was shot, the way that it was all structured. And Schumacher did a great job just kind of putting it all together.
Yeah, this could have been, I think the snowball effect of it just getting, progressively more and more, not necessarily violent, but you know what I mean? Like he goes from having a baseball bat to a butterfly knife to a bag full of guns to he has a rocket launcher. I'm like, okay, it is building, but I'm like, this could have just been like really cartoony and really like, just like you said, he could have been like an Avengers level threat. But it's like, but there are those moments of those little kernels of like the kind of the humanity where he's just like, so how do I do this? Like, how do I pull? The kid's like, oh, you pull it off and it just opens up. He's like, okay, where's the trigger? Do I right there on top? Oh. And even he fumbles it. He just accidentally, boom, shoots it right into the street. And he's like, oh, well, I guess that kind of worked. I guess, again, to almost kind of give more Joker comparisons, we can go back to the late, great Heath Ledger. Like when he walks out of the hospital, he's messing with the detonator. It has that moment like, really? God damn it. And then it blows up like, oh, there we go.
I kind of giggled at myself as I was watching it last night. I realized that, and me and you have played Call of Duty many, many times. This movie is basically a movie version of Gun Game. He starts out with his fist, he gets the bat, and then he gets the knife, and then he gets the gun.
Yeah.
He was basically playing live action Gun Game.
Oh, damn. Yeah. It really is. But yeah, like I said, I like that it builds up. It's like it does that in a really cool way. I think they made that in a cool way that it builds up because like this guy is like obviously he's capable of doing these terrible things, but you're kind of like not totally sure like, okay, but he doesn't really know how to do this. He's not obviously proficient using this little shoulder fired rocket launcher. So I don't know. Even excuse me, even the little comical bit like when the drive-by happens and he's like, hey, you missed. Again, you kind of want to laugh. You're like, you did miss. And he like shoots the car. He's like, oh, I missed too. When shoots him in the leg, I'm like, yeah, okay, lets him go. Has this little dirty Harry moment. Oh, look at that. Well, it already happened. It's like he picks and chooses. I don't know. It's weird. I guess you made a good point. Yeah, somebody said Casey's name 3 times in a mirror or something. His ears were burning. Or something was burning. I don't know. So
his wiener when he pees. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on from Joel Schumacher. Oh yeah, so cast. Let's see. I gotta go with this. I love this picture because I've seen like clips of this movie and then like I actually watched it. And I always kept seeing this and I was just like, it's a great scene. But cast. You got some heavy hitters in this movie. Like with Michael Douglas and Robert Duvall. Who stands out to you the most and why is it Michael Douglas?
Honestly, Michael Douglas runs this movie. I mean, I really the back and forth, that conversation between Michael Douglas's character and the cop at the end. I was like,
Hmm.
wow, that it's not quite on the level of the diner conversation in Heat, but I
I was
was
thinking
like,
about that.
but it was good dialogue. I mean, it was.
Yeah,
I
that's the boiling point. We're here now. Yeah.
I was like, what's ironic is that both these guys, I don't know if I put this in trivia or not, but both these guys, despite being the co-leads in the movie, essentially,
There we
are
go.
only on screen for that final scene, that third act, together.
Together. Yeah.
That's the only interaction your characters have. It's a catch-up game of between Robert Duvall's character and Michael Douglas's character, with a 1 foot and 9 toes out the door Robert Duvall, who kind of gets sucked into this thing. I mean, honestly, those two right there, it's the way that, again, I got to give a lot of credit to Schumacher for the way he directed this film, because it's very different. It's a unique situation to have the two leads, the good guy and the bad guy, or the two main people, not share screen time until the last 10 minutes of the movie. It's not something that happens all the time, and I thought he did a great job directing the story to that climax without them having any of that banter back and forth, any of that build up between the characters. It's going to build up to that final moment. I thought they were both fantastic. Also, I want to point out that our the old lady that cooked all the food in Twister, Lois Smith, has that small cameo as Foster's mother.
As his mom, and
I didn't know if you'd caught that or not. But
I didn't, because I was also like, "Is that Aunt Meg?" And then I just it dropped on my head. I was like, "No, that was cool."
It was certainly Aunt Meg.
A
But
couple years later, she's got some tasty cows.
But yeah, somebody who I thought who should have become a bigger star is Rachel Tinkerton, who plays Torres, the Mexican girl that was his partner, and kind of ends up helping him out with all this stuff. I don't know. I mean, she's been active for a long time. She's done stuff recently. I can't think of anything I've seen her in since probably the early 2000s. I mean, the last thing I remember seeing her in is Con Air, and that goes back to really the late 90s, doesn't it? Isn't that like 98?
I was gonna say that's like 98 or 99. Yeah.
That's the last big thing I remember seeing her in, and I actually looked her up because I was like, "Where's she been?" I didn't know if she retired or just quit or whatever. She's done stuff. She's been on TV. She's been on other movies. I just haven't seen them. But yeah, also Tuesday Wells herself, a fine actor, plays Amanda Prendergast's wife, the crazy lady who has been a. I mean, she's retired. She's still very alive, but I mean, in the 50s and 60s, she was one of the biggest names in Hollywood. I mean, she was all over television and film in a time where those two things didn't mix very well. But yeah, there's again very, very well acted by everybody in this film. No complaints at all. Nobody missed a beat. Again, it's that chemistry of the great story, the great performances, the great writing, all coming together and making a very compelling film.
Oh yeah! Oh, look at that! Finally got some class in here. You know.
Hey, Rach.
Staring at Casey. Right. I think my mom's busy doing other stuff tonight, so she'll catch up though. She'll probably watch it after we get off here. So either way, yeah, it's again. I'm kind of mad that I keep taking my free bingo spaces, because I mean, Michael Douglas, man, I love this shot too. It's a damn Coke bottle. Also a Coke classic, because that was still probably a haha joke, because about 5 years prior ish. Yeah, I made that awkward switch, didn't we? But yeah, man, I agree. I think it was one of the things in the trivia that, like, Michael Douglas said this is one of his favorite roles, and I don't think I blame the guy. Something that I saw, like I said, he's not like a overly bad guy. You know what I mean? It's just like, again, you're just at the absolute fucking limit, and this is, you're just like, screw it, I'm just gonna take it out in this guy's shop. Something I saw, like, with Willem Dafoe recently, was someone asked him, like, how are you so good at, like, playing a bad guy? He's like probably because I'm such a sweet guy. Like, I mean, he's like, it's that weird release where you're like, oh, I'm a good person, but, like, I can just let loose, because, like, I don't normally just get to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
I've heard the same thing. I've heard the same thing about Nicholson, because forever Nicholson played bad guys, or if not bad guys, certainly very stern, dark guys. But I mean, I've heard so many stories around Hollywood where, like, he's really nice. he's
right.
It does not fit who he really is. And I'm kind of glad that I'm kind of glad later in his career he started playing other roles where he was allowed to be the good guy and to be the one that you wanted to have fun with in the movie.
Yeah, really. I've heard the same thing about like being a haunt actor, to make it relevant to myself. That like, yeah, I like to think I'm a good person. I would think generally I'm a good person. I'm just kind of an asshole, but like I just kind of accentuate that more when I'm doing this. Like I can kind of let it out. You can let life's frustrations out on some group of random strangers you don't know that paid to see you. So
It's
that's kind of
therapeutic.
cathartic.
Therapeutic.
It is in a weird way. It really is. Yeah. So maybe not quite to this degree in this movie, but you get where I'm going with that. Somebody, where's this picture? Somebody I've always loved is Robert Duvall. He's been around for a hot minute. Weirdly, the other thing I remember that he played a cop was in was it John Q, right, with Denzel.
Actually, he was in a movie in the probably about 3 or 4 years before this came out called Colors, where he plays like a LAPD officer of the gang unit. That's a fantastic movie as well. But
yeah,
as a matter of fact, they shot a couple of scenes from this movie at the exact location where they shot scenes from that movie. So if you hold the scenes like up like next to each other, you can actually see like the same backgrounds and all that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's pretty awesome, and because like one of my favorite movies, I mean, obviously part of one of my favorite westerns is Open Range, where obviously he plays Boss Spearman. He plays the older guy, kind of the sage older guy to the middle-aged guy who's been his partner for like 10 years, grazing cows. Yeah, Duvall's always a good pick for me.
He did a movie several years ago that he funded himself called The Apostle, and it's not
heard of that.
It's not too far from this kind of story. He plays like a down home Baptist preacher from not a small church, but not a mega church. It's a church with a good following, and he has this one moment where he breaks and does a bad thing, and he realizes it immediately thereafter. So he runs away, but not running from the law. He knows the law is going to eventually catch him, but he tries his best to redeem himself before the law can catch up to him. So on the run, he pushes his car off into a pond and drops his wallet and everything, and takes the whatever cash he has on him and just walks away and stumbles across this small town. It's got a young who's the guy that plays the fucking dude, the no news shit.
It's about Ralph Fiennes?
No, in Fallout. God damn it. Goggins.
Walton Goggins.
It's got a young Walton Goggins.
You said no. My first thought was Voldemort. Sorry.
Yeah. He played a young Walton Goggins is in it as well. And he basically, this town that had no church and no real community, they were just it was one of those towns that time forgot. There's a million of them not too far from where we live. But he built a church up and helped these people rediscover their faith and their community and all that. And it was a movie that he funded himself out of his own pocket. And honestly, I think it's some of the best acting he's ever done. And I'll hold it up against the jobs that he had done in movies like this, movies like Colors, movies like Apocalypse Now. I mean, it's so good.
The Godfather.
I mean, I would hold it up against his best performances as one of the most amazing film experiences ever. It's one of those movies that if I see it on, I will stop what I'm doing, just sit and watch it because it's so good. But yeah, he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, like I said, he's always one of my favorites. Let me get bat nipples off my tabs here, and by that I mean Schumacher. You weirdos. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, what's the plot? Okay, plot. I got a good picture for that. If that right there don't sum up the plot. So, yeah, as we've said multiple times, I mean, if I could take this into like Microsoft Paint and put some little smile, little rose on the cheeks, maybe change his suit color a little bit. Yeah, I think you've got a villain, kind of a villain origin story, but like I said, it's got its kind of real moments, as we talked about. Guy just having the worst day of his life. He's recently unemployed. He's divorced, restraining order from his own wife and his kid. And all he wants to do is just, he just says, screw it, gets out of his car. He's like, I'm going home. I'm like, if that isn't the most real shit, he's like, I'm just going to go home. They're like, what the hell are you doing? And I love the walk through LA where it's like, he meets like different walks of life. I mean, like he goes from what I had earlier, like the two gang members when he's just trying to enjoy his 50-cent discounted Coke from the shop owner. To I mean, and then he walks through like the park where there's a homeless guy begging for money, and I love this shot because I'm like, that is the same fucking face I make too. If somebody like that approaches me, I'm like, dude, can you go away? I don't want to deal with you. I'm sorry, I really don't. Or that's me at cons because I swear there. I've had a guy follow me like into the convention center too, and I'm like, dude, it's not that serious. Oh my god. Then I, definitely left him there. To seeing the banker, then seeing he goes to like the rich neighborhood with the people like the plastic surgeon, the golf course, which I'm going to do it because that's genuinely the line that makes me laugh every fucking time. Is when he goes to the golf course and the guy has a heart attack. He's like, yeah, and now you're gonna die with that stupid little hat on your head. I'm like, what, dude? It's like, again, I'm like, you kind of want to laugh, but I'm like, God, that's dark. That's so fucked up. And there's the stupid hat. I mean, it's having a little Rodney Dangerfield. I'm like, oh yeah, what are you doing? You eat soup out of this thing?
That's exactly what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, yeah, should come with a cup and bowl of free soup. Oh, looks good on you then.
Oh, looks good on you. Yeah, I was trying to have a Caddyshack moment with this really dark like thing that he just like, he even like hurt the guy. He just shot his golf cart and it took off down the hill and the dude had a heart attack. It's like, damn. So anyway, plot. Does this plot work for you? Is there anything you would add, change, anything like that?
I can't think of anything that I would change or add. It works. It works out for the story. The subplot about the wife and everything, I think, is kind of a MacGuffin. I think it's just kind of something that pushes the story along. It doesn't really matter until the end of the movie because even without knowing that he's got the situation he has with his wife and his daughter, we already know he's broken. We already know why. I feel like that wasn't necessarily, but you did also need something that got you to that final scene, and it wouldn't have been the same if it would have just been like Prendergast looks and they stumble across each other on a pier, but because Barbara Hershey, who plays his wife in the film, is such a fantastic actress herself, she's been good for a long time, and she was one of the great leading ladies of the 80s and 90s, but yeah, I can't knock anything about this plot. Again, Michael Douglas's character is so compelling on his own that he really does kind of run the movie. Everybody else is just they're the accoutrement. They're the cheese at the Olive Garden that they sprinkle on that awesome ass pasta. The plot is fantastic. Again, it's an interesting character study. We don't get a whole lot of these kinds of films. I think that's one of the reasons why Joker, the first Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix, did so well, because that's what it was. I told people a lot, and there were some people that told me I was nuts. I said, it's not a comic book movie. It's got a comic book character, but it's a character study. It's a very deep dive into the mind, into a person going mad. And I think it's
that whole dialogue he says to De Niro, where he's like, what would you do if you took a mentally ill patient and put him in a system that abandons him and leaves him out, to die? And I'm like, yeah, seriously.
And I think this is, like I said, I compare those two movies a lot for this reason. You're watching someone's descent into madness. In both these films, both these guys are on the edge. And the question is what are they going to be pulled back from the edge and kind of maintain, or something that's going to happen that pushes them over the edge, and then bad shit happens at that point. Joker, obviously, it was, he's on the edge, and then it's been a while since I've watched the movie. I think it's the subway scene. It's kind of what ultimately pushes him over the edge. In this movie, it's just like, it's all the stuff that's happened to the character before the movie actually starts. But it's like he's just there and he's on the edge, and he has that moment of frustration where his air conditioning is not working. He's in hot LA weather, 90-something degrees, traffic, frustration. Wife left him, just got fired. It's that moment where that thing just kind of snaps in your brain, and you're like, I don't care about the things I used to care about anymore. So now what's going to happen? And that's what the movie is what happens. But I think it's interesting, though. One of the big differences between this movie and Joker is that he does, I think, hold on to bits of his not, if not sanity, certainly his humanity, because it's like he doesn't want. I mean, because look, all the guys that he shoots at or accosts in this movie are people that went after him. Like,
True.
like the guy who was bothering him for money, and he gives him the briefcase. Like, he could have killed that guy. He could have pulled one of those guns out, put one right in that guy's face, and that'd have been the end of him. But he's like, no, not here. You're just annoying. I'm not going to kill you. But the gangbangers that come back after him, I mean, that's when he does what he does and deals with them. The Nazi guy from the surplus store that tries to get the drop on him. Yeah, that tries to get the drop on him. That guy gets cut down. So it's like the only person he really tries to kill are the people that went after him. He's not just running around killing people. I mean, he could have killed the Asian store worker earlier in the movie. He didn't.
Oh, the store owner.
He could have beat that guy to death. He had the guy in a bad position. He could have finished him off. He didn't. He just walked away. The guy learned his lesson. He walked away. So there is a shred of his humanity that is still in there, because he doesn't snap to the point where he just wants to randomly kill people. It's like now he's gotten to the point where he's like, if these guys are going to cross me, then if you choose violence, if you choose to go that route, then we're going to go that route.
Hey, you've got somebody I don't know if I've ever seen you before. Darker Reviews. Growing up, his dad was fond of this movie. He's got good taste in movies. Like I said, this is as we've been slowly just jerking this movie off the whole, what is it now, like half an hour. So yeah, that's
Darker Reviews. Darker Reviews is a good channel too. I've been watching some of his stuff lately too. I reached out to him for potential collaboration. Hopefully, we'll work it out at some point. But yeah,
hell yeah.
So go watch Darker Reviews. Click on his stuff and go watch him as well.
Hell yeah. Yeah, because I love that scene, like when he the store owner goes to talk to Prendergast, and he's like, it's like oh, so what happened? He attacked you, or did he just broke the stuff and he bought the coke and just walked out? It's like that would seem so weird to you. You think in LA, it's like, oh yeah, this guy would have probably got beat within an inch of his life, or probably died and got robbed, and he's like, no, he paid for his coke and left. Like, what? It just seems so weird to them. And that's what I'm saying. These moments of where he's making these good points, and he's bringing up these frustrations that we all think about. I love that when he's got the rocket launcher and he's talking to the construction guy, so what's wrong with the road? I'm like, we've all wanted to ask these fuckers, what are you actually doing? Because I know you're not. He's like, yeah, you got to justify your wages. I'm like, right, because they say, hey, we'll give you this much money to fix this road by this day. And they're like, okay. And they don't. So they're like, okay, we'll give you this much if you finish it by this date. And they're like, now we're talking. I'm like, right. And then they just do a shit job. And I mean, I feel like I could be a road construction worker, because I'm like, wow, maybe one of you works and you all stand around all day and you just wait. Yeah. Because
my dad worked for the
hell of a job security, because you're going to do it next year for the next 30 fucking years. I'm like, dude, and even the guy's like, I actually don't know. There's nothing wrong with the road. And it's like,
yeah. That my dad worked. My dad worked for the city for quite some time, so I know all about this stuff. I heard him bitching about it for many years, and his friends bitched about it for many years.
Yeah. So stuff like that. I'm trying to think. I think there's another one. Yeah, I forgot I got. Where is he? It's a great shot. Not economically viable. Which was your line. I love that. Guy's also not having a good day. But there's a little trivia on that, which I now see what you were talking about. I did not notice that. That's pretty funny. Yeah, like I said, these moments that he has with in between these kind of just moments of violence where it's he says the things that, again, that we're all we're thinking about. Kind of having a Boondock Saints moment too, where he's like, we all think the same thing all the time. Someone should just go out there and kill these motherfuckers. Think about it. You've thought about it too. It's I don't know about all that, but you know what I mean. A little more realistic in that case. So nothing I would change. It does come to, man, it comes to a good boiling point at the end where you're kind of the whole build up to with where's that picture? There it is, with Prendergast and old Michael Douglas here. Mr. Wall Street. It's also a good movie, by the way. because I will never forget that line. Greed, for lack of a better word, is a good thing.
It's good. Greed works.
Yeah, right. That like this whole overshadowing thing where you're kind of like, is the superstitions real? Like, I mean, you're kind of thinking this whole time like, this is Prendergast's last day on the force, and of course, this is what he's got to deal with. You know, kind of like some Morgan Freeman shit from Seven. Like, God damn, I got to deal with this nut job on my last day. My wife just wants me to fucking come home, and they want to come home early because you think, oh, it's a superstition that you're gonna die, you know. And he keeps seeing the paper headlines like a cop was killed the other day, and he kind of like looks at it. You're wondering in the seeds in the back of your head, like, oh God, I hope he doesn't. You know, you're kind of hoping because as we've seen Michael Douglas's character go throughout this movie, it's like he could, you know. And I'll get that line there at the end where he does say like, you know, like I could have got you, and it's like you wonder like, is this gonna go sideways or is this gonna, you know, you're on the edge of your seat till it happens. Yeah, and I thought that like this point here to get there was built up pretty beautifully. And where is it? Yeah. So I knew that damn gun was gonna come back to. I'm like, he's gonna pull out something that's either real, it's gonna be a shootout, or it's like I kept seeing that gun. I'm like, oh my God, is he gonna like get mistaken and he's gonna get laid the fuck out because they thought he had a gun? And I was like, yeah, not quite what I thought when I saw this. I'm like, oh yeah, and still, I mean, you do that. I think that still grounds to shoot you, and he did a cute backflip over the, and you know, as I called it, dead in the water. So I've got jokes, but
yeah, that's
another day.
In a movie full of really great scenes, like that scene is good. It's good. It's
them too, yeah.
You're also talking about
he's munching on popcorn, just casually talking to him and like flashing the wife like the gun, like trying to be like, I'm gonna get this guy, like don't worry.
That was a level of cool that I don't think I've ever seen Robert Duvall display in any movie.
I was gonna say that was badass.
He's leaning up against the kiosk and he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's just munching on popcorn, so mellow and cool. And I was like, "Damn, that's G stuff right there."
You've got some nads.
And for the retired guy with all the experience. Another thing I thought, one thing I do think was a little overdone about some of the character stuff is while LA was certainly full of really terrible cops back in the 90s. I mean, you know, I just listened to a small documentary when I was at work earlier about the OJ verdict, but and that whole mess. But yeah, look, I mean, not all cops are perfect. I am a supporter of our boys in blue, but not all cops are perfect. But I mean, just the sheer ineptitude of some of these cops. I was like, it's a little much. I can see the one guy, the pretty boy, being kind of an idiot, but the fact that the rest of them are all just so terrible, I'm like, that was a bit much for me.
Like the lady cop that's just like, yeah, whatever. If you want to call back. Have a nice day, lady. I'm like, I get it, but also, really? She's telling you her husband's like not having a good day. And she knows
like, yeah, he's already been a problem. There's been court papers filed over this. And you're just like, yeah, whatever. Give us a call if he shows up. Well, if he shows up, it's going to be too late. So, you know. But, that's my only real kind of... But, I mean, again, you're just talking about the way movies were made. It's got to be narratively... It kind of has to be so that Prendergast can be the hero. You know, I mean, I get it. I get it. But, like I said, that scene on the pier, though, I mean, oh my God, so beautifully done, so beautifully shot. It really is one of those scenes where you're kind of holding your breath for a couple of minutes while it's playing out because you're like, I feel like any second now, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Something is going to,
and I want to be focused on it because it's just build up. So it's great tension building, and you know, like you said, with him just kind of making that little movement to show the gun to the wife, so she was kind of in on it.
And like he handed the popcorn to the kid, and the kid gave it to him, and he had to put the gun down. I'm like, God damn, that was smooth. Like. Oh, yeah, it's. I was gonna say something about that, but that's a. Oh, because again, I love that little slight character arc for him too, for Prendergast, because he did just like the last thing he talked about with the chief was basically he's like, look, man, I don't like you because like you're a coward basically, and it's like, what the fuck? So he's kind of like, hey, watch this shit. I'm gonna take this dude out and I'm gonna eat a bowl of popcorn while I do it. Like, again, like the nads on this guy to be like, no, I still got it, and I can still go out here and kick some ass. And which another one of my favorite lines is when, you know, they're talking to the police chief, and he walks in frame. He's like, so what do you think? He's like, yeah, fuck you, chief. Fuck you very much. And walks off. I'm like, the mic drop. Like, dude, you're already dragging your nuts across this sidewalk, and you just slapped him with it on the way through.
Yeah, you already need a bulldozer to carry your nuts around after the movie just made. So
you're like Randy Marsh. You need like the wheelbarrow to put him in and just take him down the street.
I do also want to touch on like the final scene where he sits down on the porch and he has the conversation with the girl, and then the camera goes in and it shows the happy moment of the video where
on the TV,
the television of the old home video, and instead of showing another one of those moments where he's getting frustrated and yelling because the kid won't get on the horse, it's one of those moments of happiness and joy that may have been few and far between for them in their relationship and their marriage, but that's where you wrap everything up for everybody, is in this happy moment. Prendergast feels like a cop again, decides he's not going to retire apparently, and then then you move on, and instead of seeing these two grown-ups in this relationship that have been separated and broken and hurt by each other for whatever reason, you see that moment of happiness where everything was in a good spot, and that's where you end. Not a very dark movie, but a movie that's unfortunate for the character. You know what I mean? It's an unfortunate situation that he finds himself in. But it was really cool to end on that really positive, really happy kind of vision.
Because like even when he's talking to him on the pier, because he tells him like, "Look, I had a daughter too. I had a young daughter and she died. Like I don't have that choice anymore." He's like, "You still have a choice, man. Like you got to think about that." And again, he does hit him back with a good line. Where he's like, "Don't you want to see her grow up?" He's like, "What, behind bars?" I'm like,
"Yeah,
hey, you got a point." Like I get what he's trying to do. I don't know if this was a good enough picture. I'm trying to find one of the family. I like that, like, it's kind of, I don't know if it was supposed to be symbolic, but it's funny that, like, there is, like, that rocking horse, like, penny ride behind them, too, which was kind of funny as he was just watching that scene on his home video. I'm like, kind of weird that they're there by, like, the same pony ride, too, that he was just watching. Hell of a place to just end up having it all taken away from you. Yeah. No, I don't think there's anything I would change about this movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't change anything about it. Like I said, I mean, I can almost give Schumacher a little bit of forgiveness for the Bat Nipples debacle, just because he's given his.
Well, we can let it go. I think there's some other, I mean, and some other movies that I think kind of outweigh it. I know we joke about it, but man,
well,
he's made some bangers.
I'll go back to that for a minute because I don't want to ignore some of the movies he did. He did The Lost Boys, a movie that was close near and dear to my heart because I grew up where they filmed that movie. I mean, he did
number 23.
Flatliners is a good movie. He did Falling Down thereafter. We'll skip
Phone
that
Booth,
one.
which we reviewed.
A Time to Kill, which is a very good legal movie. That other movie that we're going to skip
Phantom
over. He did a movie called Tigerland back in 2000 with Colin Farrell. It was one of Colin Farrell's first kind of breakout roles. It was actually a very good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember watching it was good. And Phone Booth, like you said, it was a movie that got kind of screwed by the real world. It came out about the time the whole DC Sniper thing was happening, so it kind of just skipped theaters and straight to video. But that's a fantastic movie. That's one of the reasons I wanted to review that.
Lost Boys, San Elmo's Fire, 8mm with fucking Cage.
Dude, here's the 80s in me coming out. St. Elmo's Fire is a fantastic fucking movie. It's a weird coming of age movie, but it's for college kids rather than high school kids. So it's so you're not because usually the coming of age movies happens for like the high school or junior high kids. You don't usually see a coming of age movie for adults. That's kind of what that movie was. As these students were transitioning from the college world into the real world to go on to whatever their life was going to bring them to. It's a very good movie. I mean, it's loaded with a bunch of 80s heavy hitters. I mean, Estevez, Lowe, McCarthy, Demi Moore, Judd, Ali Sheedy, Andy McDowell. It's just loaded with so many people. And number 23 is also a good movie as well. I know you mentioned that. That's also a good movie.
Yeah. It's in the trivia. Okay. I was gonna mention some real world stuff with this movie that I was like in the back of my head. I was like, hey, wait a minute. There's something that pretty big happened the year before this movie came out.
He also directed 2 episodes of House of Cards.
Ooh.
Oh, great show. The last season really downhill, but I mean, they did what they could with what they were dealt with. But I mean, that's a great show.
Spacey.
Yeah.
A little awkward. I said Lost Boys. Was he director or was he producer, writer? What was that?
He was the director of the Lost Boys.
Okay. Well, see, that's another good 80s one. Shit. Yeah, like I said, Phantom of the Opera. So what else? I mean, yeah, you got a good list. Yeah, set phone booth. Yeah, Batman. Yeah, talk about that. Flatliners Cousins. Yeah, I mean, the bat nipples are big and hard, but man, like I said, I can forgive you. It's okay. He's also since passed, so I try to look at it collectively, you know. So.
Is Schumacher? Did he die?
Yeah, didn't he pass away?
Oh, he did. He did. He died back in 2020. Oh wow. For
2020,
some
yeah.
reason, in my head, I thought he was still alive. I just thought he was old. Okay.
Yeah, 1939. So he's pushing it a little bit. Yeah. About 5 years ago now. So, yep. I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch Batman and Robin, but I mean, you know, man. All right. Well, since we think this movie is perfect, I guess. I didn't see the bottom. Damn it. Oh, it's just what could have been. Okay, thank God. I've got pictures for all these trivias because I know what I'm doing. Oh, goody. We get to start off strong with this right here. You're tugging at my heartstrings. In the video game,
that's why I put this one first.
I see it. I see what you did. In the video game Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, a character resembling Foster recreates the rocket launcher scene in a cutscene, blowing up the construction site before walking away with a duffel bag.
I love when video games take little moments like that as Easter eggs.
Yeah, you gotta love that. Let's end a little bit. Okay, let's get this picture because I just thought it was funny because I'm like, good Lord, Sir Mix-a-Lot, baby's got back. I'm sure that was just like there and like, come on, you gotta hilariously frame it that way. It's not gonna make sense with what I'm about to tell you. Falling Down was being filmed in various locations in Linwood, California, when the 1992 Los Angeles riots began. By April 30th, the riots were sufficiently disruptive to force filming to stop early that day. Film crews produced more footage inside the Warner Brothers studio in Burbank as the riots continued. By May 4th, when the crews were intended to resume in Pasadena, initial requests to do so were denied, causing more delays. The filming finally wrapped in late June of 1992.
Yeah, real life definitely taking its toll.
I was thinking about, I was like, wait a minute, 93. I was like, wait, something pretty big happened the year before in this very same town. And I was like, I bet that did have something to do with it. I'm glad you put that in there because I was wondering how would you manage to do that? I'm like, LA is fucking huge, and there's only so many places I'm sure you film, but yeah, yikes. Again, it's fun when, man, real life sometimes it gets in the damn way of making movies, which, art imitates life or life imitates art. I don't know.
LA is an interesting place because there's so many different places you can film at that look like different places in the world. I mean, you can go to some place. There's some places in LA where they have like oil derricks that are still pulling oil out of the ground, so you could shoot a scene there and act like it's in Texas. You could go to some places just outside of LA and you could essentially shoot a movie like Tombstone. It looks like the Old West, or some movie set in a farmland or whatever. You go 30 minutes in the other direction and you can shoot like a hood movie, like Don't Be a Menace to South Central or something like that, because you're in Watts or Compton. You drive 30 minutes the other direction. You're in what's left now, the Palisades, where you can shoot like a rich person neighborhood.
Right.
It's one of the reasons why they shot there for so long was because LA really is a taste of everything. At least it was for most of my life. But what ended up happening was they started getting tax breaks from other places to actually shoot on location. That's why a lot of TV shows from like the WB, CW, whatever it is now, all the Arrowverse shows, that's why they were all shooting in Vancouver, because you could just take a picture of the LA skyline in a helicopter. That's all the shooting you have to do in LA. They would shoot them all in the streets of Vancouver at night, and they were getting huge tax breaks. That's why they go to places like Prague and shoot, because they get huge tax incentives. So hopefully California will figure that out and they'll bring a little bit of filming back to the state.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I know, like, especially like The Walking Dead, like Georgia became a fucking big place to fucking shoot stuff there for a while in the 2010s, and maybe up now, it's like, man, it's kind of wild. Like in that same town, like I love to go down there and visit that. Like Sonoya, Georgia, like the actual town was just straight up what they used for Woodbury. That's the town. And then you're like, yeah, you go this far over here. There's the prison. It's a big warehouse over here. Middle of nowhere. There's Herschel's farm. Hey, there's this big industrial building here. That's the Saviors complex. So here over here's Alexandria. You know what I mean? It's weird. Just in, even that little town down there in Georgia, there's all kinds of crazy stuff you can do to film different locations for your show. Oh, look at that. I already mentioned it. I gotta go back. It's just a funny goddamn shot. Michael Douglas considers this his favorite performance of all the movies that he has been in. And again, I don't blame him. I feel like it probably was actually kind of fun.
I mean, if you ask a lot of actors, what their favorite role was, they'll probably not tell you their biggest movie. They'll probably say there was a smaller budget thing that I did, middle part of my career that I've always been proudest of. That was the one thing where I was doing it for art's sake rather than, a combination of art and getting paid and wanting to be a part of the thing or whatever. I feel like you just really feel a certain kindred spirit in the role you're playing.
Oh, damn it! I got ahead of myself. I knew I was thinking about this scene. I'll go back to it because it's just funny. During the Whammy Burger scene, Dee Dee Pfeiffer, who's playing Sheila, had a hard time staying in character after Bill Foster pulled out his firearm. As his lines afterward were making her giggle and laugh. If you look closely at her face as she's handing Rick the burger before the camera pans over to Bill, talking to the scared customers, you can see that she's smiling. I think there was one that I found where it almost looks like she's not like terrified, but she's almost just kind of like, almost on the verge of a laugh. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's probably really hard. I'd be kind of giggling too, of like, because again, it is a genuinely funny moment, like when he shoots the fucking roof on accident. And he's trying to calm her right down. Like,
yeah, I have a very vivid memory. The first time I remember watching this movie anyway was with some of my cousins when I was younger, and we get to the scene and we're like, "Why is this chick smiling? The dude's swinging around a Mac 10."
right,
and he clearly doesn't know how to use the damn thing because he's already shot a couple of holes in the ceiling. It's like, right. So while he's wandering around bitching about not being able to get a breakfast sandwich at 11:30, it's like that gun could go off. Yeah, whatever. That gun could go off and sitting around through my forehead, but whatever. I'm just gonna stand there and smile. But whatever. It turns out, I don't know if you know this a little bit of trivia or not. Dee Dee Pfeiffer. I don't know if that name sounds familiar. That's Michelle Pfeiffer's little sister.
I was wondering, with the last name, I was like, are they related?
That's a unique enough name to where you have to look. But yes, that is in fact Michelle Pfeiffer's little sister.
That's kind of cool. I can kind of see. Well, it's not a good picture of her, but I can kind of see it.
In all honesty, it's like I'm glad they didn't make enough takes to where she kind of kept a straight face and acting scared. I think that her not being able to like look scared and kind of giggle at it kind of gives the scene a weird kind of character. Yeah, it's like it doesn't affect the movie. It doesn't affect what's happening. It doesn't affect the outcome. But it's like it's that one little moment that kind of it makes you watch the movie a little harder. You know what I mean? You're kind of like, why?
I was gonna say, as a haunt actor, I can tell you, I'm like, that there is some real world levity I can give to that, where I'm like, that is kind of a response. I'm like, you might like laugh, and I try to tell like newer people when I'm like training them how to do this. I'm like, they're not like laughing at you. I'm like, it is a natural reaction to like, you might laugh or you might giggle, you might get nervous because then they start giggling to themselves. Like it is a real thing. So I'm like, yeah, it does kind of make that seem more real. I think that is what kind of works. You kind of laugh at the guy for like not really knowing what he's trying to do, in the moment. But you're also kind of like, yeah, but yeah, he gets someone through one of these customers or, through us over the counter. But no, it's a real reaction to fear sometimes. It's a really weird phenomenon, but it does happen. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Or, it's just genuinely funny. I don't know. Another one of the funniest characters in this movie. The man who is yelling about not being economically viable in front of the bank is in fact wearing the same clothes as Foster. Even the tie pattern is exactly the same.
Yeah, I wish I would
I'm
have
glad
gotten
you.
I wish I would have gotten a picture of Michael Douglas's character to put up with this one. But yeah, there is a cool symmetry,
Yeah,
a cool little nod. Well, yeah, right there, you can see it pretty clearly. But
yeah.
there is a duality. It's like because like both these men are obviously in a position where they're not happy with something that's happening in their lives. One guy chooses violence, the other guy chooses to hold up a sign and protest.
Mhm.
Both these guys are troubled by what's happening to them, but they're taking two completely different routes to deal with it. He's choosing a non-violent route, holding up a sign. He wants to draw attention to whatever the system, the whatever. Whereas Michael Douglas decided to go another route when he snaps, and instead of holding up a sign saying, stop tearing up my roads for nothing and stop whatever, that he decided to grab the bag of guns, go kill a Nazi, and
Right.
whatever.
Run through
Yeah,
the
so
rich neighborhood.
there's an interesting duality about how you handle the hardships in life between these two characters.
And I like that even when he was the protester was being taken away, he yells out the window like, "Don't forget me, man!" And he doesn't. I love in that final scene when he's with Prendergast. He even says like, "Maybe I'm just not economically viable." I'm like, "Oh, damn." He remembered the guy. I'm like, "Damn, dude." And I'm like, I think you're still gonna take a couple in the chest, but nice." Though kind of came full circle there for a minute. Do. What do I even do for that? You know what? Let's go to stupid hat because that shit makes me laugh every time. It's the best line. Iron Maiden's song. Again, you're tugging at my heartstrings. Iron Maiden's song "Man on the Edge" is based on this movie.
Yeah, I was really
Love that.
surprised at the number of musical bands that were inspired by this film and this character. You
Oh yeah.
know, Foo Fighters, Iron Maiden,
Mm-hmm.
the Heart Attack Man, which is a band I've not heard of, but I'll look for it. Internal Bleeding sampled some scenes for this song. Uh, let's see, the song "My Name Is Mud" by Primus is titled after one of the final lines spoken by Pendergrass.
By Prendergast, yeah.
Kanye West has made references to it. I mean, for better or worse. Even in animation, I mean, The Simpsons, Duckman,
Well,
which is something I've never seen. They've kind of leaned on references to this movie. I mean, this really is one of those things that, I mean, I wouldn't call it a cult movie because I think that's
it's
unfair
got
because
cultural staying power though.
the movie did do well in its time. It's not like the movie went unnoticed and then 20 years after people rediscovered it and it popped off again. But it culturally it has rung true for a lot of people. There is something about this character, something about the way the story is told that is hung with people, that hangs with you after you see the film, whether you saw it 30 years ago when it came out, or whether you just watched it for the first time last night. There's something about this movie that's going to hang with you for a long time, and you're always going to go back and rewatch it and say, okay, I now that I've seen it, I understand it differently, and it still resonates. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I like movies that can do that, like that have, like I said, that kind of relatability and that message that you still carry with you, like you kind of understand. Like I said with this, like you said, that's why Joker did so well. I was thinking of stuff like They Live. I love They Live, and I love the message it was trying to put out there. Like there's definitely lizard people in the world. There was no one. I can't remember what I was gonna say. God damn it. Anyway, yeah, movies like that do stay with you that you tend to rewatch. Um, oh, Office Space, one of our favorites. Office Space is a super fucking. I think that's the prequel to this. If you would have told me he spun around in a chair and all of a sudden you just saw Michael Douglas's face pop up over like one of the cubicles, I'm like, I believe it. I totally, I believe that.
Ron Livingston is just a younger version of this
Right?
character. Well, you know what happened is the
They're gonna lose it
hypnotism.
if I don't get out of here.
They never took the hypnotism thing off, so maybe that's why he lost his shit.
That's true. Like you say, he even said to the guys, he's like, guys, I feel like if I don't get out of here, I'm gonna lose it. Just want to take a gun and just get like the guy in the restaurant. He's like, yeah, and you're like, yeah, you get it with your 37 pieces of flair, like your little pretty boy over there. Oh god damn it! All right, we got. Let's get one more of the old Mikey boy here. In the movie, Bill Foster is referred to as being in his late 30s, but Michael Douglas was actually 48 at the time when the movie was shot in 92. I mean, if I look that good at 48 for still, being considered in your late 30s, I'm in my early 30s now, so I don't know. I also don't look like Michael Douglas, so I can't really.
Yeah, he was a year younger than
compare.
me than I am right now when he filmed this movie.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm old.
Yeah, it's
Gray.
hidden, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
that I a while back I had seen something that the Lethal Weapon, Danny Glover. I'm too old for this shit. He was only
I'm too old for this
45.
shit.
He was only
Right.
45, and I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, I'm pushing 50. Come on, you can't even do this shit now. I didn't know it was coming when I was 13 years old and I watched that movie for the first time when it came out. But
You're like, he's old. Now you're like,
yeah,
oh, damn it.
now I'm 50 and I'm like, wait a minute, he's too old for this shit? And I'm like, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, but that just means that it just gets funnier and funnier with more sequels. Like, the more he says it, I'm like, yeah, no, you're definitely getting too old for this shit, man. That line's just going to keep hitting.
Which is one of the reasons why, because I keep hearing whispers about another Lethal Weapon movie that they want to make.
Right.
I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not. I know that Danny Glover's talked about it. Mel Gibson's discussed that there's been like talks and like story ideas. Nothing concrete. But I'm just like, if he was too old for this shit back in 1987 or whatever when this movie came out, you're talking about 30-some years ago. He's going to be 80 for Christ's sake. It's he's almost too old to be breathing, let alone too old to be a cop. So, I mean, if you're going to make that movie, you better start shooting in the next 10 minutes because if not, then it's not going to look right.
Yeah, you're going to lose your window of time here, I'm telling you. All right, let's, who's first? All right, Michael Douglas, of course. So, what could have been, and this is an insane list. So I hope everybody's sitting down. Hold on to your Coke classics because I'm gonna reel off some fucking names here who were considered for this role: Jack Nicholson, Ed Harris, Robert De Niro, Alec Baldwin, Jeff Bridges, Nick Nolte, Mel Gibson, Michael Keaton, Robin Williams, Harrison Ford, Dustin Hoffman, and Al Pacino were considered for the role of Defense, as they call him.
Yeah,
holy crap.
For one, I mean, that's Murderer's Row of great acting. But
yeah, no kidding.
I could see almost all of these people playing this role. The only one that doesn't,
I think Robin Williams was not that he couldn't, but I'm not quite sure. Well, I've seen him do some serious stuff, but like,
yeah, at the time when this movie came out, he was most known for comedy. He hadn't done a lot of dramatic stuff. It wasn't until you got into the 2000s he did shit like what was that one movie where he could see God fuck. He did that one like kind of thriller thing with Pacino, that movie. And then he did another one
I was thinking of like a 1 hour photo. I was thinking of some
1 hour photo is the one I was thinking of because that's the one where he where like people record everything they see over the course of their lives, and then when they die, he's the one that edits together like this sizzle reel of their life experiences, and he does that for a girl who witnessed a crime, and then they're after him because he saw what she saw before she died. But yeah, he didn't really start doing the dramatic stuff until it was late. What was it was late 90s when he did like Good Will Hunting and stuff.
Dead Poet Society is kind of more serious role, like Good Will Hunting.
Right around that time. I don't know that he could have pulled off walking around, shooting at gangbangers and and doing some of the stuff. I don't know if he'd have pulled that off quite as well. One person that jumps out to me that would have been interesting is Dustin Hoffman. I feel like he can kind of do anything. I mean, I know that lately I don't know if he's been semi-retired, but it's like, at this point in your career, he can pick and choose what he wants. But
yeah,
Dustin Hoffman would have been interesting. Nicholson, I think, would have killed it. Ed Harris is just good in anything. De Niro, good in anything. Baldwin in the 90s. Nick Nolte. He was doing Hunt for Red October and all that. Bridges is great. Nick Nolte, I think, could have done a good job.
Yeah.
I think it would have been interesting. Mel Gibson, I think he was probably still looked at as too much of a good guy to play the bad guy at that point.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton would have been interesting. Michael Keaton would have been.
Keaton would have been very, very interesting. He would have just been. Actually, no, was he? No, Batman Returns was 92, so he'd been right off the heels of that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if Harrison Ford. Has Harrison Ford ever played a true bad guy?
The Fugitive, or was he really a bad guy?
Well, no, he wasn't the bad guy. He was innocent. He was just on the
Hey,
run
kill
trying to
my wife.
innocent.
I don't care. Right.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. But
right.
So I mean, I don't know that Harrison Ford could have played that convincing of a bad guy. Like I said, I don't think he's ever played a real bad guy.
But I mean, he could have.
Hoffman,
He
Pacino
definitely could have done
anything. Yeah, Pacino could do anything.
Yeah. Pacino definitely could have done that. He getting some Tony Montana vibes from it.
Oh yeah.
Jeff Bridges, I like Baldwin. Yeah. I'm trying to think in this time too, like this time period. I mean, De Niro. God, when was Casino? Was that 92?
Yeah, maybe 93.
Early 90s.
Yeah, it was early mid.
Maybe 93. Yeah, okay. Shit, Ed Harris. Yeah. I don't really have too much of a doubt about any of these guys playing this lead role.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges is one of the guys that I think can go back and forth between good guy and bad guy, or at least gruff guy, because he's played bad guys in the past. Not just Obadiah Stane and Iron Man, but he's played like characters that weren't exactly the good guy.
I was he was in that remake of True Grit, where I'm like, yeah, you're a good guy, but you're kind of just the gruff old man. Yeah. What was he doing? When was Lebowski? Was that late 90s?
So something like that. I forget.
Late 90s, I think. So, okay. I'm trying to compare the dude to fucking, defense. That's a while. Were you listening to the dude story?
Call me defense.
Shut up, Donnie. You're out of your element.
Yeah, call me defense if you don't want to call me defense. If you're into the whole brevity thing.
That's just your opinion, man. That's real interesting. Nah.
I really like this Mac 10. It ties the room together.
I was like, there's a great joke here. The goddamn Korean guy pissed on my rug. Really brought the room together, He's Korean, goddamn it. Oh, son of a bitch. We gotta do that movie. I'm telling you. We keep telling her she's gotta watch. God, The Big Lebowski is a good movie. Oh, fucking hell. Let's get down out of there. Okay, who? Oh, all right.
Saddam Hussein is giving out bowling shoes. Why? Who the fuck cares? He's just doing it. Doesn't need a reason. It's just in the movie.
Smokey, if you mark it as 0, you're running a world of pain. I'm not the only one who gives a shit about the rules. Put your piece away, man. They're calling the cops. Goddamn. Is this the last? Okay, this is the last bit before I quote the entire fucking movie. Let's go back to Prendergast. All right. Also, what could have been for Prendergast role? Gene Hackman, Walter Matthau, Sidney Poitier, Sidney Poitier. I'm not gonna say it again. Paul Newman, Jason Robards, and Jack Lemmon were considered for Lester Prendergast.
Yeah, every one of those guys Hall of Famers. It's like
I know why are all this is hard. God damn. I mean, look at we've said before, like Gene Hackman can. I mean, man, this guy's got range. I have no doubt.
Well, it's like looking at those names. It's like Gene Hackman and Sidney Poitier. I mean, they're top 10 all time. Sidney Poitier, do whatever the hell they want. I think Jason Robards is interesting. I think we would have gotten a performance from Jason Robards similar to what we got from Robert Duvall, because Jason Robards is just fantastic. Yeah. Jack Lemmon would have been. Lemmon and Matthau are the ones that are kind of interesting because when they took more serious roles, because their background was so much more comedic, at least to the people from my age group on. I mean, because I've seen stuff from the 60s and 70s with these guys where it was more dramatic. But once you got into the 80s, you'd see these guys doing things like Grumpy Old Men and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff they did was comedic. So for me, my first real experience with these guys in a dramatic setting, in a dramatic piece, was JFK, because both these guys played different roles in JFK. And so it would have been interesting to have seen Matthau. I don't think that Matthau and Lemmon, where they were in age at the time, I don't know if you could have easily convinced me that they were ready to keep being cops at the end of the movie. Maybe not. Paul Newman, maybe. I don't know. God, how old was Paul Newman when this movie was made? I don't even know. But again, he's kind of a Hall of Famer. He's one of those guys who can kind of do anything. But the one that I think would have been interesting to see, though, is Jason Robards. I think he would have given us a different but yet similar performance to what we got, what we ended up getting in the movie from Duvall, but it still would have been good.
Oh shit! Paul Newman's from Ohio. I did not know that. That's cool.
Either. But I mean, Gene Hackman probably would have done a great job too. I mean, because that guy's done something different for every role. So I mean, he was always a step up from anybody else you could have had. But I'm not mad at any of the performances in this film. They were all fantastic anyway.
He was born. I'm sorry, Newman was born in 1925, so he would have been pushing what 70, like 67 or so by the time this movie came out.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that could have worked age wise.
Yeah, cop on his way out. Yeah, I could see that. Okay. Yeah. But just those two roles, man. Those names you want to list off, like, good lord, I probably could have been happy with any of them. But I mean, as we always say, I'm happy that things happened the way they did, and I mean, the chemistry worked.
Well, and also, if you think about it, it's clear that I don't know how much casting, how much he had to do with casting. Schumacher, he didn't go after. He could have gone. I mean, we talked about who could have played defense. The youngest actor there is Alec Baldwin, maybe Michael Keaton at the time, but those guys were already well established. You look at other guys: Nicholson, well established; Ed Harris, well established; De Niro, well established.
Ford,
all those guys,
Pacino,
all those guys were people that were already balls deep into epic careers. So you wanted somebody who you knew was going to bring a certain level of performance to the role. And like I said, even at the time, between Keaton and Alec Baldwin, Keaton had already been in the Batman movies. I mean, mostly comedy at the time, but the Batman movies really set him down.
They did do Batman, yeah.
Baldwin had already been in several movies. I mean, Hunt for Red October he'd already been in. So I mean, he obviously had the acting chops. So it wasn't like they were trying to find somebody who was not well known, or maybe somebody who just hadn't had their big break yet. They were going after people with a high level of talent. So, and same thing for Prendergast. I mean, Matthau and Lemon had been legends for 20 years at that point. Portier, same thing. Newman, same thing. Robards and Hackman. I mean, like I said, that entire list of guys that could have played Prendergast are all Hall of Famers. They weren't just guys who we'll give them a shot. I think they're going to be good. They're like, no, I want that level of talent for this film.
Because like I said, this right here, like we kept saying, this hits. Good lord.
But you see, and I will make that comparison to the scene in Heat now. It's that dialogue that goes back and forth, that tension, that moment, you need a certain level of acting to build that up. Because I don't know if you know who Ari Spears is. Comedian, was on Mad TV back in the day. He had a bit years ago where he talks about that scene in Heat. He's like, if you'd have put Stallone and Schwarzenegger in that scene, that shit never would have worked. That scene would have crashed and burned immediately. But because you got De Niro and Pacino, that brings something else. And this scene is a lot like that, because you have these two guys that are already very, very good. I mean, at this point in their career, they're already pretty much Hall of Famers. But you know, it's such a great tension building, such great dialogue delivery. There's a moment that a scene like this, it demands more than just reading dialogue and making facial expressions. It requires more than acting. You know what I mean? It requires you to be an artist, to be at the top of what you do. You have to be at the very best for that moment. And scenes like that are why these two guys are great. They hit that moment, and they know how to do it. They know how to deliver. They know how to work in tandem to give you a great scene, like the diner scene in Heat, and really even like the shootout at the end of Heat. I mean, the whole shootout between De Niro and Pacino, almost no dialogue. I mean, there's no dialogue in the entire shootout until the very end.
At the airport,
but the diner scene sets up that whole moment. So you don't need dialogue. You don't need them saying, "I'm going to get you. You're not going to get me, copper." The copper's like, "You're going down, Bugsy." You don't need that moment, because you've already built that strange relationship that exists between these two characters. So now all that's left is for it to happen.
Yeah, where it's like, we're both going to do what we got to do, and when that moment comes, we'll see what happens. I'm like, yeah. That's what happened.
And the moment comes, and what else needs to be said? And that's one of the things that's great about this, is like you have that moment you have that dialogue between the two, and then it pops off, and then you do I guess you kind of need the moment where he's like, "Don't do this. There's a way out of this for you. We can."
I was like, "Don't make me do this either. Like, I don't want to have to kill you."
And the guy's just like, I'm looking at my path forward here, and none of them really are good for me. So maybe it's just better off that it goes the way it goes. So it's two great actors can make a really good scene into an epically great scene because they know how to do what they do.
And like I said, it's like they didn't even have that. It's I have one picture I didn't use. I'm like, it's just, you know, he didn't see him. He just keeps hearing these hints of like, wait, this guy in a white shirt and tie. That's all he gets. He's like, oh, he went from here to here to here to here to here, and he kind of put it. He's like, I think I know where this is ending up, you know, to get to that moment. It's like now he finally sees who this guy is, and funny enough, when he does, you know, see him, he's actually not wearing the white shirt and tie. So, to be fair, that's all he heard all day was this guy was wearing that. Actually, no. To be fair, his partner did yell at him. He's still wearing the GI Joe outfit, you know. After she gets laid out in the lawn, which sucked. I was like, she was okay. Sandra took a bullet, but she's okay.
Yeah, she got shot in the liver, but don't worry about it. No big deal. She'll shake it off.
Yeah, smoke wounds are never killed anybody, right? I don't think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the end of the trivia. So yeah. So do you want to give me some final thoughts, closing thoughts on this movie? And I'm not even going to ask if you give it a recommend because I already know the answer is yes.
I already give it a recommend. Yeah, it's like, dude. It's like I said, it's like the first Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. It's a great character study. You get a very deep character in this movie with Michael Douglas, and like I said, it was kind of a passion project for him. From what I read, the moment he read the script, he was like, I have to do this movie. And he I think even Clint Eastwood at one point was like maybe attached to try to make this movie years earlier.
Ooh,
and for whatever reason didn't work out. Yeah, that could have been interesting. It didn't work out. And Michael Douglas, he very wisely saw something in this movie that he knew was going to be more than just a blockbuster. It was going to be one of those movies that stand the test of time. And there's going to be something in this movie that draws you in, and it really does. It's one of the great films of the last 30 or 40 years, in my opinion. It's different. It doesn't rely on special effects. It really is one of those old school, great acting, great writing. Go perform, go be great, and everybody in this movie is great. So I highly suggest going to see it. It's if you have YouTube Premium, it's free on Premium. It's behind a paywall on Amazon, but if you're going to pay money for any movie on Amazon, I think this is one of the ones you should pay for. Totally worth it, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. Maybe find it on DVD if possible. I had it on DVD at one point. I have no idea what the hell I did with it, but yeah, it's a fantastic movie that you absolutely should watch.
Yeah, this is one of those movies. I agree. It's worth excuse me. It's worth seeing. It's worth seeing again. It's definitely worth having on physical media. It's worth like $3-4 of a paywall, or like you said, if you have YouTube Premium, it's free right now at the time of this recording. So yeah, give it a watch if you haven't seen it. Like I said, it's something like I said that we're here well over 30 years later still talking about this movie, and it's you can still watch it and it's still great. It will still hit. It's like, again, you can mildly relate because like we've all had bad days. We've all had bad days where we're like, oh damn, just really over the edge right now. And it's like, but will we get out of the car and then just, want to walk home? You know what I mean? So, through early 90s LA, but, albeit, yeah, definite recommend from my end too. Yeah. It's, man, even if you like I said, I constantly see clips of this come up again. And I just remember like, God damn, you see just some quick scenes of like I said, him beating up the two fucking gang guys, seeing him on the golf course, like you just can't help it. And I was like, man, this whole goddamn movie is awesome. So yeah, go watch it. Like I said, it's like you said, it doesn't rely on special effects, doesn't need anything flashy or anything crazy because it is a little more real, like where you don't know how to use a rocket launcher and some kid on a bike helps you out. Of all God, no. Where's that damn, hold on. You know what this feels like right here? I just had a moment. This is like I'm Michael Douglas trying to play Fortnite, and this little kid right here is just like, he knows everything. And he just, he could kick my ass in a fight here, but I'm just like, so how does this work? So I build this way, right? Like, oh, and then I shoot. Okay, thanks. Thanks, kid. That's how I feel trying to play, games with the kids, as it were. So, telling you, this movie's relatable all around. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. That movie didn't come out till the year after, but whatever. Good year for movies, 94. Tell you what. So with that all wrapped up in a nice bow, So what have you got going on the internets? I.e., what are we doing next week? Which I think wait. Speaking of Jeff Bridges, I think I actually know what we're doing next week.
Yes,
Speaking of
sir.
Jeff Bridges.
Yes, sir. You do. With Tron Ares coming out on the 10th, we're going to go through all 3 Tron movies, 3 straight reviews, starting with the original Tron from 1980, whatever, 82. The original Tron on Tuesday. Then we'll do Tron Legacy, which I think is an underrated movie. It wasn't everything I wanted it to be, but I thought it was still very good. We'll do that on Thursday, and then we will do Tron Ares next Tuesday, a week from Tuesday. So it's going to be all Tron. And then since we're cheating a little bit into the spooky season, which I hated doing, but I've been wanting to do the Tron movies for a long time, and I wanted to wait until Tron Ares came out. But we will be starting the horror stuff, and then we will probably take the horror stuff into November. So after that, I'm thinking right now the plan is to do All Hallows Eve, the introduction of everybody's favorite killer clown, Art the Clown. I'm sure that Tex is already wringing his hands over that, like, oh yeah, let's go. But yeah, so we'll be carrying the spooky season on into November to make sure we get plenty of horror movies to talk about, and then after that, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll be here Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yeah, it kind of sucks that I'm just gonna blame Jared Leto. It's his fault for this movie coming out when it does. So. God damn it, dude. But yeah, no, we'll go through the original Tron movie, which I have seen, and I have actually not seen Legacy because I despise Legacy sequels. So that'll be a first watch for me, and I'm like, fine, I'll do it for the people. Well, I suffer for you people.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's like I said, it's not the movie that I just don't want it to be.
I know. I don't want to ruin. I want to ruin the magic of the original. I love it. It's God damn it.
I don't think it ruins the original. I think if the only Tron movie you ever see is the original, then you're fine. But this movie does.
That's where I'm fine right now. I'm like, I'm good.
It does. I was kind of annoyed at how it kind of left a little bit at the end open for a potential sequel, but not.
And here we are now.
And then I honestly thought for years that there would never be a third Tron movie because once Disney bought all of the Fox properties, the X-Men and all their stuff, for everything that I had read told me that they were not interested in doing a third Tron film, but there was so much other stuff they were going to do that all the talk obviously was integrating X-Men into the current MCU and how's that going to work, and they're building their catalog to put on Disney Plus and so on, that Tron 3 just became kind of an afterthought and it probably wasn't going to get done. And then they kind of shocked everybody by saying, okay, Tron 3 is in the works. And we're like, really? we were under the impression that was probably never going to happen because Tron Legacy didn't do very well at the box office. It made money and it was good, but it didn't do gangbusters. But so maybe they thought they just didn't want to put the money into it. But it's gotten some really great reviews so far that I've heard. I haven't gotten the early reviews, but some of the screeners have gone out to people and I've heard good things. And the trailers look banging. Yeah. I mean, the trailers look amazing.
I will give it that. I do like the tunnel difference. I'm like of it with the red light instead of the blue, like we typically see. I'm like, oh shit. Then when you say Ares, I'm like, well, Ares is the god of war. I'm like, you're kind of suggesting some stuff here where I'm like, this could be pretty cool. I will admit, but I'm like, I haven't seen Legacy. I don't know if I have to do homework, but I'll still watch it. I was like, even that's old enough where I'm like, that's probably on something. Because you're going from 82 to like 2010 to 2025 now. I'm like, good God, that you're skipping that rock over time. Like,
yeah, I actually have the 25th anniversary edition of Tron on DVD. That in and of itself is probably 25 years old. But that's how old I am.
Right.
but yeah, I mean, just the innovations that they made with Tron. We'll go into it more when we talk about it. I mean, they shot the movie in black screen. I mean, nowadays it's all blue screen or green screen. They shot the movie on.
That's what was so goddamn cool about. Yeah, that's what's cool about it.
To get the effects, so it's like they had like basically all white suits with like little glowing lights on them. But when you shoot it against the black screen, it makes those colors pop. They did a little bit of computer stuff to kind of accentuate it. But yeah, I mean, it was innovative movie in every way.
It was cool as shit.
It was the early gamer culture. With the
I was gonna say, is it a video game movie?
I mean. Yeah, Flynn is a gamer in the first movie. Essentially, he's not just a game player, but a developer. So he's kind of the ultimate gamer of the era. So yeah, it's I
True.
mean, the first movie it's one of the classics. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Again, the second one, Legacy, I thought was still pretty good. Not everything I wanted, but it was still really good. And you know, say what you will about Jared Leto and the whole Morbius debacle.
Oh, I will.
Jared Leto is a fantastic actor, and some of the things that I've heard about his
Yeah.
performance, he's getting very high marks from some of the things that I've heard and read. So
All right.
this is like Jared Leto at some of his best. And some of the newer trailers look awfully good.
Oh yeah. And if you want to watch along, I believe Tron and Tron Legacy are both on Disney Plus. So if you've got that, you want to do your homework for next week, because I definitely have to do some apparently. So yeah, that's we're in Tron country for the next like 2 weeks. But as he said, we'll do some horror stuff, and I'm like, yeah, sure, half of November, but yeah, half of November, but also half of October. But I'm kind of not mad, because I'm like, well, then I can really not be just bogged down by the haunt, because that's what I'm doing on the weekends. I can finally talk some horror a little bit better when I'm not just dead to the entire world. So I'm kind of not mad about it. I'll still talk horror in November. Give me January, I'll talk about it. I don't care. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing. So hopefully we'll see you all. See you all next week. We'll start. I moved my controllers. Damn it! I was gonna make a gamer joke and I couldn't do it. With that note, play me out, music man. I can't. I can't make a gamer joke. We'll see you guys. We can just rage quit on a video game. I've been there before. Where I just want to throw it against the wall. So
True.
I get it.
True.
Like I said, those little kids that crank 90s on me in Fortnite, and I'm like, why do I even bother?
I'm interested if there's going to be like a different cameo in the new Tron movie, because it's like I know Jeff Bridges is going to be in it, but it's like I know Garrett Hedlund isn't, which is interesting. But I mean, do we get Bruce Boxleitner back, the original Tron? Does he show back up in this movie? I'm interested.
Ooh.
Or do we get Defense with a shotgun, just saying like screw the programs and starts whacking people and de-resing them?
It's like an Agent Smith kind of character.
I take it.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.